Hello, peace and greetings. I am Bella, and this is the new True Crime Reading channel. The email's there in case you want to send me any reading requests, and so is the Cash App at Readings by Bella. For the energy and the time I take to put into these cases, we want to get the information out there. We want to keep the conversation going with these folks. So please do donate. Please do send request and share the videos, like them, and subscribe. Also check the description area because there may be like news clippings or anything that I needed to add, or the pinned comments. Thank you. Take care, guys. On the property of an abandoned building or an industrial space, it was gang related.
Michael Jackson was his original body, I'm gonna put it like that, really discovered in 2005. This is for entertainment and educational purposes only. Somebody had tagged me in another video, so I went and looked, and this is what I found. Santa Barbara, California. During a search for evidence at the Neverland Valley Ranch, investigators discovered a corpse that has been identified as that of Michael Jackson, Santa Barbara police officials announced Tuesday. Coroners have officially pronounced Michael Jackson unalived. From what we can tell, he unalived between 18 and 20 years ago. Okay, now that puts the timeline between 1978 and 1979. Now, Tim Holbrook, the investigator, said that we are not certain at this time who or what has been standing trial in the Santa Maria courthouse. According to Holbrook, Jackson's was buried just inches below a stretch of the miniature train tracks that run throughout Neverland. The largely desiccated corpse wore the remains. They said they found him below the train that runs throughout Neverland, just inches below like the tracks. We positively identified the body as Jackson by his dental records and DNA. Holbrook said that although the corpse was in an advanced stage of decomp, when investigators compared the body to early career publicity photos of Jackson, they saw a striking resemblance in bone structure and facial features. But when they compared the body to photos taken after 1987, the resemblance was negligible. This discovery raises lots of questions, but it also sheds light on a number of disturbing incidents, Holbrook said. Frankly, Jackson had been acting pretty strange. Forensic experts and music critics are postulating that Jackson was dead before the release of the multi-platinum album Bad. Now, I just want to say that we all know, and Suge Knight and everybody's been saying, that the Zionists are the ones. And do you think Sony really wanted him to go out on his own and make his own money? No. It said here that detectives are currently analyzing the lyrics to Man in the Mirror for any clues relating to a look-alike entity that may suspect unalived the youngest member of the Jackson 5 and assumed his identity. Again, this is for entertainment purposes only. We believe that Neverland served as some sort of freakishly whimsical tomb constructed by Jackson's unaliver, Holbrook said. We also suspect that all of the iniquities that occurred on that ranch were the work of the imposter. Now, this was in 1979, okay? Just a short period later, you get this. And here is the train. Now, someone has said, named Allard, he said he thinks that the imposter broke ties with Jackson's former friends and surrounded himself with children who were too young to notice the radical change. Holbrook went on to say that he didn't know who this creature was. You know, and it's weird because, you know, Sony, they weren't liking him wanting to change his persona from Michael Jackson and go to MJ. Then, you know, there was that incident with that Pepsi where he got burnt up real bad or whatever, and that's what they said led to this. But I just don't know. You know how the music industry is with their fucking cover-ups. I mean, for reals. I mean, just remember 1979, just a few years later. Completely different. That looked like Nancy Pelosi. I don't give a fuck. So a man that was talking in the article said that one of the employees there took him to Michael Jackson, and he noticed that it was him in pajamas and a bunch of kids eating ice cream watching 101 Dalmatians. And the other Michael, this one, was not like that. So, why the change? Let me know what you think. Like, share, follow, and comment for part 2.
Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. I just wanted to, you guys seen the live draw for the cards. I do plan on having a better setup than this. Probably in about another month and a half, I'm gonna get some tripods and stuff, and we're gonna do it a bit better than what I've been doing. Just wanted to go over these cards though, and then make sure you continue watching, because there's several different angles in this video that are worth checking out after this quick reading. So on the property of an abandoned building or industrial space, this could be relating to him being found at Neverland. I don't know if Neverland was abandoned by that time, but they definitely had moved on from Neverland at some point. So, whenever they found the body, reportedly or supposedly or allegedly, the place may have been abandoned by then. I don't know. Gang related, meaning that there was more than one person who conspired in the situation, was the victim of a targeted attack. He was. Child victimization. A lot of people don't know that Michael was pimped out to Hollywood pedophiles. It's been said, this has come out through different sources, through other entertainers who wrote books talking about this, and other sources. Joe was selling young Michael to pedophiles so that they could get so that they can get into the scheme of things in show business. This is what this relates to. So Mike really had, I think there was so much going on with Mike that nobody could even wrap their minds around. I also heard about satanic rituals involving some of the boys too, that Joe had gotten them into. So arguments, confrontations, brother, okay? We know, I don't think he had that great of a relationship with Jermaine. I know there was some strife there, but, I don't want to be making stuff up, but I've, through the years I've heard and seen, different interviews and stuff like that. And for some reason there seemed to be like a little funkiness between some of the boys, but mainly Jermaine and Michael. And also, when Michael had done an interview shortly, around the time in 2009 when this happened, when he reportedly had passed away in 2009. Jermaine slipped. This is funny, but Jermaine said when we were taking him to the hospital, he slipped and said we were taking him to the airport. He said we took him to the airport. No, I mean the hospital, and that's a hell of a slip. That's a slip. To slip, and we'll get into the theories of that, because there's a lot of evidence that says that the Michael that we now know of actually faked his death. But there's keep watching, you'll see some evidence and some stuff regarding that. Had surgery. We know he had there was extensive plastic surgery, organized operation, again alluding to gang related and cover up. Domestic violence situation. This definitely, I think, speaks to his childhood. Could have been some other scenarios. We know that the children were really abused. We know that Latoya was, I believe Latoya was molested. Later she came out and recanted some stuff, but I felt like they always bullied Latoya, and Latoya was likely really, really harmed. She was very pretty young girl, and the father was an animal, was a monster. So the family knows them. So some members of the family in on this thing, because just like with Angie Stone, they get rid of this person, and then they can take over and control things, or even manipulate if he was cloned, because they do have that technology. And the family was involved. I mean, everybody is sitting pretty over there. You know what I mean? That estate is really, quite healthy. I was drugged before I was killed. I was out of my mind. Suicide. I'm wondering if I know he said that. Like I've heard interviews where he said that he felt suicidal, but this would be the one that we know now, and not the earlier one. Or this suicide could be relating to the daughter, and maybe the daughter was assaulted. Because I know that Paris like had an incident where like there was suicide and drugs and that sort of thing. She could have been threatened. I mean, who knows? Like Hollywood is a very, very dark place. Actors have been murdered, singers have been murdered, people have had their planes blown up, and this is all surrounding control of money, resources, having access to royalties and all this stuff. Like Hollywood is a really, really messed up place, and it's all about money, and they will do anything. They will do anything, just like these rappers today. Like how many young rappers were killed, and then you find out that somebody took out a life insurance policy on them at the record company. Same thing with Angie Stone. I mean, you know, so it's a dirty, evil, dark business, and just trying to get to the bottom of, you know, why this may have happened, but I think it likely could be control. It would take me some time to really like try to get in touch with the soul. This isn't something that happens like immediately. Sometimes it can take days, weeks, to get in touch with the soul or the spirit. And if you guys have seen my, what is it, the Memphis 3, not the Memphis 3, the St. Louis video with the 3 women, it took days. It took like almost a week and a half to get them, you know, to come through to have an actual. So if this happens, I'll be back with more information. But continue to watch the video because it'll go into the other theories. But I just wanted to explain these cards here, and we'll see in the next clips.
They said the date was it was in 1984 that he had got his hair burned.
He got his hair burned.
Explain to me, just did he? But the overdose that you saying happened.
The incident happened in 1979. Now, from what I understand it now, it was a look-alike that was in 1984 that they concocted the hair burning to go to the alopecia to say that his skin was changing while they were in corporation of making the clone.
Wow. And you know, in 84, I want to say that's the first time I see the glove.
Right, right.
The silver one glove that he would wear.
Yes, sir.
That's the first time I remember seeing it. Now, it might have been before that. I don't know, but that's the time I recollect seeing it.
Okay. Pretty much so. And what is it say? What was the significance of the one silver glove?
That's what I don't know.
That's another hidden message, just like in Thriller, him coming up out of the grave. His family didn't believe in that. So everything is called subliminal seduction. They tell you what it is, and you see it in plain sight, and you think it's something else.
Wow.
Everybody was mad at me until a white woman confirmed it.
Coroners have officially pronounced Michael Jackson unalived between 18 and 20 years ago. Okay, then that puts the timeline between 1978 and 1979.
That they found his remains on Neverland. Why did they call it Neverland?
I don't know. Why did they call it Neverland?
Never, never, never. Whether he's dead, you never gonna forget Michael Jackson now.
No, never.
At the time of, it came up at the time that he was dealing with a child molestation. Michael didn't play with little kids like that. Allegedly. I was not there. You dig what I'm saying? Before I get this slack again, and I don't care whether Elvis Presley was the king of rock, the king of pop, the king. I don't give a what king he was. He was a king, goddamn it. Don't worry about that. You understand? These coons be nitpicking.
He said you didn't get it right.
Huh? The king of R&B.
He wasn't the king of R&B.
Okay, the king of pop. He was a king.
Who's the king of R&B?
I don't know.
They say R. Kelly is the king of R&B.
Okay, R. Kelly's the king of R&B. I rob banks. I don't care nothing about who's the king, and I'm just shoot the messenger.
So you tell the story the way you told it. You didn't say, you say somebody in prison shared that story.
No. I didn't say somebody in prison. One of my homies, a guy from Piru Street,
okay,
was a light man in Las Vegas. And he worked for the Jackson family. He was one of the first light men in Vegas. He worked for Ben Vereen, Bill Cosby. We had pave, anything we needed on Las Vegas Boulevard, 76 on, until this incident happened in 1979. Then he went dark. Went to his house, he wasn't at the house. Went there, like, man, where in the hell is Leonard at? You understand me? Like, man, I go to prison, I get out of prison in 1990. He's like underhood on crack cocaine. And he had told me this story. And when it was 86, he first told me the story.
In 86?
In 86, he told me, man, what happened to you, man? He like, man, this happened. And they start corrupting everybody that was associated with that. Wow. And I had to go under. You're like, man, he gave up this man was making $250,000 a year in the 70s and wasn't selling drugs.
Wow. And
went from that to nothing. So I'm like, okay. Then when I got out in 90, he told me the same story. Mark, man, what I told you about that, man, it's going bad. It's whoop-de-whoop. And I'm like, okay. So I've been keeping it all this time, but I've been start researching the activities. Now, when you research the activities, you start looking at the changes. Well, one of the brothers in the Nation of Islam on the time that Michael was deceased, the clone Michael was deceased, when they took the clothes off, when they took his clothes off, his nuts was pink. A black man, we don't, everything. That's why.
No, wait a minute. They say when they took it for the autopsy?
He never had well, okay, there's another situation we go to. When they came in and took him, they said they were taking him to a chamber for his body to be frozen. That's what the family wanted, allegedly. So they was wrapping him and putting him in this thing for this chamber. Mysteriously, right after that, they said they cremated him.
Whoa. Not
that cremation is against Jehovah's Witnesses, but they didn't cremate Joe. They buried Joe out next to the grave that Michael Jackson ain't in.
Wow.
So now we went from he was supposed to be frozen to having a secret cremation. But now in toxology, when you die from an overdose, they're supposed to get blood samples. They have no blood samples.
No.
Nothing at all that has the DNA from the clone Michael Jackson. So he's supposed to have 2 children, right?
Right.
Now the woman said, well, no, it was in vitro fertilization. We never had, ugly as she is, she wasn't ought to get it from anybody. But she said, no, she didn't have sex with Michael. And so now when it came to them taking a DNA on the children, the doctor that's supposed to did it, he said that the sperm was his.
Wow.
So the son is not Michael Jackson, it's his son. So it went over everybody's head. Now they got $100 million. Each of the kids.
Wow.
But they have no trace of Jackson DNA.
So do you feel like that was just a plot to get
it's
control
always
of,
a plot.
Of the money?
It's always the control. They said they made $3 billion for a Council World Tour that they knew wasn't going to never happen. So since he died, accidental death, overdose at hands of another, what did Conrad do? He from Texas. He didn't know no better. He was following protocol. But they didn't arrest none of the other doctors who were supposed to have been injecting him with that,
No, they didn't.
We make all of us the fall guys. For 15 years, he was with the Pinkerton detective, white people. When it came for his demise, the last 3 years of this situation, when it came to the effect of him being accused of messing with kids, they hired the Nation of Islam. Why? Negro don't know nothing. We just impressed to be around,
Wow.
And when you see the Nation of Islam, the ones that did security, they wasn't ranked FOI. They were some young boys.
Wow. No, it definitely, like I said, it's mysterious how Mike moved, how he would go here and go there, how they portrayed him. And you made the statement that his mom really, you didn't see them together much after.
You didn't see them together at all. for 15 years. And he was a mama's boy. He was, when my partner, he was telling me, Leonard said, like, man, when they used to go out, Michael would be at home with his mom. He never went out and hung out with girls. He never did this and this and that. He was a mama's boy. He didn't go out and express himself. But now, after this 79 to 84, you never seen him in any family pictures, Easter, Mother's Day, Thanksgiving. Oh, Michael called us. But he was never there present at any family function.
Wow.
What was the disconnect?
Yeah, we on.
Arrête ton téléphone, s'il te plaît, il continue à filmer.
Oh, arrête!
Vas-y, arrête, s'il te plaît. Bah, regarde la tour Eiffel au milieu.
Allez, là,
Au lieu de
c'est
filmer.
bon, regarde la tour Eiffel.
Filme un truc français. En vrai.
On s'en fout, c'est moche.
Ouais, c'est ça. Ah, tu veux dire qu'on est beau, hein.
Ah ouais. Ah ouais.
On traverse ça. Eh, je te jure, si tu coupes pas la vidéo, non, je vais casser ta cam.
Oh non.
Non, mais c'est clair, t'es pas.
Non, non, mais non.
Non, mais t'effaces.
Bah, si.
Non, non.
Si tu-
Non, mais.
Mais non,
T'as
mais non.
entendu ce que j'ai dit?
T'as pas de choix, t'effaces, c'est tout.
Eh, mais il y a.
C'est qui ça?
Mais...
Ah, mais y'a Michael Jackson.
Non, non, il est mort, lui. Non,
Mais non, regarde,
impossible.
mais c'est lui,
Attends,
viens, viens, viens.
Personne, merde,